The Amish build structures that last centuries using only hand tools and natural materials, while modern buildings often need major repairs within decades. These 50 traditional building methods consistently outperform million-dollar modern techniques. Simple engineering wisdom that puts contemporary construction to shame. Amish Barn Raising Organization. Barn raising events showcase something remarkable about traditional construction methods. When Amish work crews gather to build a 40 by 80 foot barn, they complete the entire structure in just one day using nothing but human coordination and centuries-old techniques. These crews consist of over 50 men who manage complex assembly processes without any supervisors, walkie-talkies, or modern communication devices. The Amish have developed sequential assembly methods through generations of practice that actually achieve faster completion times than modern construction teams using power tools and machinery. Each person knows exactly what to do and when to do it, creating a synchronized building process that would make any project manager jealous. Amish body-based measurements. Long before tape measures became standard, the Amish developed a measurement system based on the human body that remains surprisingly accurate today. Traditional Amish carpentry relies on standardized body measurements that maintain consistency across different builders working on the same project. Handspan and arm-length measurements are taught within Amish families from childhood, providing reliable references that don't require any tools. Amish carpenters never need to worry about losing their measuring tools. They always have them attached. Children learn pace-counting techniques that achieve distance measurements within just 2% accuracy. This means an Amish carpenter can measure a 100-foot foundation and be off by only 2 feet or less. The system works because these measurements are standardized within their communities and passed down through generations of practical application. Amish proportional design systems. The Amish approach to building design relies on mathematical relationships learned through experience rather than complex engineering calculations. Traditional Amish building proportions optimize structural efficiency through ratios that have been tested by time and weather for centuries. These scaling methods allow Amish carpenters to maintain structural integrity whether they're building a small chicken coop or a massive dairy barn. The proportional systems eliminate the need for architects or engineers because the mathematical relationships are built into the traditional designs. This knowledge gets passed down through families, ensuring that each generation understands not just how to build, but why certain proportions create stronger, longer-lasting structures that can withstand decades of harsh weather conditions. Amish template and pattern systems. Wooden patterns serve as the backbone of Amish building consistency, ensuring that every component fits perfectly without modern measuring instruments. These templates allow Amish builders to create dozens of identical pieces for complex structures like barns or houses. Complex angle transfer techniques practiced by Amish craftsmen maintain accuracy even when working with challenging cuts and joints. An Amish carpenter's template collection gets more respect than a family heirloom and lasts just as long. The story pole system represents perhaps their most ingenious innovation, containing complete dimensional information for entire buildings on a single wooden staff. This pole eliminates the need for blueprints or detailed plans because all the critical measurements are marked directly on the wood, making construction remarkably efficient. Amish foundation leveling methods. Achieving a perfectly level foundation without modern equipment requires techniques that the Amish have refined over more than 200 years. Amish carpenters can achieve level within 1/8 inch across large spans using only string lines and water-filled glass jars. The water level technique works on the principle that water always seeks its own level, creating a reliable reference point that doesn't require expensive laser levels or transit equipment. Traditional Amish building crews use wooden stakes placed according to mathematical principles learned from their fathers and grandfathers. This foundation work forms the critical base for everything that follows, and the precision achieved through these simple methods often exceeds what modern contractors accomplish with sophisticated equipment. Hand-cut joints in Amish construction. The mortise and tenon joints cut by Amish carpenters actually grow stronger over decades as the wood settles and adjusts to its environment. This phenomenon occurs because the Amish understand wood grain direction and natural wood movement in ways that modern builders often overlook. Traditional Amish kerf cutting prevents wood splitting during assembly of timber frame barns, ensuring that joints remain tight and strong throughout the building's lifetime. Amish joints are like old married couples, they just get tighter and more reliable with time. Amish builders develop their grain direction assessment skills through childhood observation in family workshops, learning to read wood like others read books. These hand-cut connections can last for centuries because they work with the wood's natural properties rather than fighting against them. Amish tree selection practices. Tree selection for Amish construction follows lunar calendars and seasonal timing that has been passed down through generations of woodworkers. The Amish believe that trees harvested during specific moon phases produce lumber with superior characteristics for building purposes. Traditional Amish practice involves selecting trees from north-facing slopes for certain structural applications because these trees grow differently due to reduced sun exposure and slower growth rates. The only product we'll ever promote on our channel is a book by Claude Davis, a veteran prepper, about 126 superfoods and preservation methods from crisis times like the Great Depression and wartime that are impossible to find elsewhere. We decided to promote his book because we are the last generation able to share these techniques and superfoods to our children or grandchildren. It would be a shame to see this information about highly nutritious foods and preservation methods to survive crises disappear. You can also find a book about herbal remedies from Nicole Apelian on their store. If you're watching this on TV, you can look up our channel, Frugal Solutions, on your phone or tablet and find the books by clicking the link in our channel description or any other video description. Amish woodworkers can read tree rings to predict how lumber will behave in their specific climate over periods of 50 years or more. This knowledge allows them to match the right wood to the right application, ensuring that structural members perform optimally throughout the building's lifetime for decades of reliable service. Amish. Weather forecasting for construction. Weather prediction for construction timing relies on observation skills that Amish farmers have developed over lifetimes of working outdoors. Traditional Amish families can predict weather changes through cloud observation techniques passed down for generations, allowing them to plan construction activities around optimal conditions. Amish builders learn to detect atmospheric pressure changes through physical sensations, often feeling weather changes in their joints or noticing subtle shifts in air quality. The Amish weather forecast comes with a 200-year track record and no commercial breaks. Animal behavior patterns provide another layer of weather prediction, with Amish families observing livestock and wildlife to indicate weather changes 24 to 48 hours in advance. This natural forecasting system proves remarkably accurate because it relies on multiple environmental indicators. Amish site preparation using natural indicators. Reading the landscape like a book allows Amish builders to make informed decisions about drainage, soil conditions, and building placement before breaking ground. Traditional Amish site preparation involves observing plant species that grow naturally on construction sites to understand soil drainage characteristics. Different plants indicate different soil and water conditions, providing valuable information about how the site will perform during wet seasons. Water table detection methods used by Amish communities involve digging test holes and monitoring water levels over complete seasonal cycles to understand drainage patterns. Ground slope assessment uses wooden A-frames with plumb bobs to establish proper building grades without expensive surveying equipment. Natural windbreak positioning techniques help orient buildings to deflect harsh winter winds while capturing beneficial summer breezes. Amish lumber. Seasoning methods. Air-drying lumber using traditional Amish methods produces wood with superior dimensional stability compared to modern kiln-dried alternatives. The Amish seasoning process takes longer than industrial methods, but results in lumber that moves less and lasts longer in their climate conditions. Stacking techniques used by Amish sawmills prevent warping while controlling moisture release at rates that don't stress the wood fibers. Amish lumber seasoning takes longer than a teenager's first job interview, but the results last about 100 times longer. These carefully developed seasoning schedules achieve optimal moisture content for their specific climate and building applications. The slower drying process allows the wood to adjust gradually to environmental conditions, reducing the likelihood of checking, splitting, or warping after installation in their traditional structures. Amish timber preservation without chemicals. Chemical-free wood preservation methods used by the Amish produce lumber that resists insects and decay for decades without any synthetic treatments. Traditional Amish builders submerge cut timbers in farm ponds for 6 to 12 months to leach out sugars that naturally attract insects and promote rot. Saltwater soaking techniques involve creating brine solutions using rock salt to treat fence posts and foundation sills, effectively preserving the wood through natural mineral penetration. Smoke curing methods expose structural lumber to controlled wood smoke for natural pest deterrent properties that penetrate deep into the wood fibers. Bark removal timing requires harvesting during sap flow periods when bark separates cleanly, preventing insect nesting sites from forming in the finished lumber. The stone selection method. Sound testing represents the cornerstone of Amish stone selection for foundations that will support buildings for generations. Amish masons strike foundation stones with hammers to identify internal flaws through the acoustic response, with solid stones producing clear ringing tones while cracked or weak stones create dull thuds. Proper stone foundations built by Amish craftsmen regularly last 150 years or more without any concrete reinforcement or modern stabilization techniques. Amish stone selection is like choosing a good neighbor. You want one that sounds solid and won't crack under pressure. Traditional selection requires stones weighing 75 to 150 pounds for optimal stability in foundation work, creating the perfect balance between manageability and structural integrity. Studies of existing Amish foundations show 35% less settling compared to conventional concrete foundations built in similar conditions. Amish frost-proof foundation techniques. Angled stone placement forms the secret behind Amish foundations that resist frost damage through centuries of freeze-thaw cycles. Amish builders position foundation stones to naturally channel water away from basement walls, preventing the accumulation that leads to frost heaving and structural damage. Traditional Amish frost line knowledge comes directly from generations of observing soil patterns and seasonal ground movement in their specific regions. Root cellars constructed using these techniques maintain consistent 55-degree Fahrenheit temperatures year-round through strategic stone placement and proper depth calculations. The angled stone system works by creating natural drainage paths that direct water away from vulnerable areas while maintaining structural stability even during extreme weather conditions. Amish mortar mixing. Using natural materials. Limestone burned in homemade kilns at temperatures reaching 1800 degrees. Fahrenheit creates the foundation for Amish lime mortar that surpasses modern materials in longevity. Traditional Amish masons select sand from specific creek beds that provide angular particles necessary for superior bonding strength in their mortar mixtures. Hair and fiber additives include precisely measured ratios of horsehair, cow hair, and chopped straw that prevent cracking while allowing natural structural movement. Amish mortar recipes have more ingredients than grandmother's Sunday dinner and last about as long in family memory. Natural mortar formulations developed by Amish craftsmen actually cure to greater strength than Portland cement after 50 years of carbonation processes. The lime mortar continues strengthening over decades through chemical reactions with atmospheric carbon dioxide, creating bonds that improve rather than deteriorate with age. Amish alignment methods. The 3-4-5 triangle method serves as the mathematical foundation for establishing perfect squares over large building areas without sophisticated surveying equipment. Traditional Amish layout techniques use this ancient geometric principle to ensure that corners meet at precise 90-degree angles across spans of 100 feet or more. Stringline techniques practiced in Amish construction maintain accuracy over these extended distances through careful tensioning and support point placement. Solar positioning methods taught within Amish communities determine true building orientation by observing shadow patterns and sun angles throughout the day. These alignment techniques prove so reliable that many Amish buildings constructed over a century ago still show perfect square measurements when checked with modern instruments. Amish beam sizing without modern tools. Body-based measurement systems allow Amish carpenters to size structural beams accurately without engineering tables or load calculation software. Traditional Amish carpentry applies span-to-depth ratios learned through apprenticeship programs that have proven their effectiveness over centuries of practical application. These ratios account for wood species, load requirements, and environmental factors specific to their region and building styles. Amish beam sizing follows the old carpenter's rule: when in doubt, build it stout enough to park a buggy on. Conservative Amish sizing practices consistently result in structures that outlast modern engineered buildings by decades or even centuries. The traditional approach prioritizes long-term structural integrity over material efficiency, ensuring that beams perform reliably throughout the building's extended lifespan without replacement or reinforcement. Amish blacksmith hardware. Hand-forged nails created by Amish blacksmiths demonstrate superior holding power compared to machine-made fasteners through their irregular surface texture and work-hardened steel composition. Traditional Amish hinge designs accommodate specific load requirements for barn doors and house applications, with each piece custom forged to match the exact weight and usage patterns expected. Blacksmith-produced hardware in Amish communities routinely provides 50 years or more of reliable service life without replacement or significant maintenance requirements. The forging process creates metal grain structures that resist fatigue and corrosion better than mass-produced alternatives. Hand-forged hardware also allows for custom sizing and strength characteristics that perfectly match each specific application rather than forcing builders to adapt their designs to standard manufactured sizes. Amish crosscut saw methods. Two-person Amish sawing teams achieve cutting speeds that often exceed many power tools when working with hardwood species common in their region. Traditional Amish crosscut saws feature tooth patterns specifically optimized for local wood species, with different configurations for oak, maple, cherry, and other trees they commonly harvest. Kerf-following techniques taught within Amish communities enable sawyers to maintain perfectly straight cuts over distances of 20 feet or more without deviation. Amish sawing teams work so smoothly together they make professional dance partners look clumsy. The rhythmic motion developed through years of practice creates efficient cutting action that wastes minimal energy while maximizing wood removal. Proper saw maintenance and sharpening techniques ensure that these hand tools remain effective for decades of regular use. Amish. Hand plane techniques. Glass smooth wood surfaces achieved through traditional Amish hand planing surpass the finish quality possible with most power sanders and modern surface preparation tools. Amish craftsmen sharpen plane blades to cutting edges measuring just 0.0002 inches using whetstones and techniques passed down through generations of woodworkers. Proper grip techniques and body mechanics learned in Amish workshops allow craftsmen to plane wood surfaces for entire workdays without experiencing fatigue or muscle strain. The hand planing process creates surface textures that accept stains and finishes more evenly than machine-prepared surfaces, resulting in superior final appearance. These techniques also preserve the wood's natural grain patterns and figure that can be damaged or obscured by power tools. Amish chisel craftsmanship. Hand-cut dovetail joints created by Amish furniture makers achieve tolerances within 0.005 inches using only traditional chisels and careful measuring techniques. Traditional Amish mallet techniques generate precise cutting forces that remove wood cleanly without crushing or damaging the surrounding fibers. Curved cutting methods developed by Amish woodworkers create perfect circles and complex shapes using only straight chisels through controlled cutting and waste removal processes. Amish chisel work is so precise, it makes Swiss watchmakers nervous about their reputation. The skill level required for this precision develops through years of practice and instruction from master craftsmen within the community. Proper chisel maintenance and sharpening ensures that these tools maintain their cutting effectiveness throughout decades of regular use in demanding woodworking applications. Amish. Wooden peg manufacturing and installation. Split oak creates the foundation for wooden pegs that actually expand when moisture increases, making joints tighter over time rather than loosening like metal fasteners. Traditional Amish carpenters manufacture these pegs from green oak that has been split along the grain rather than cut, preserving the wood's natural strength and flexibility. Peg sizing techniques require creating pegs exactly 1/64 inch larger than the holes they'll fill, ensuring proper compression fit during installation. Installation methods involve driving pegs through slightly undersized holes while wood fibers remain green and pliable, allowing the peg to compress during insertion, then expand as it dries. Amish peg joints demonstrate 40% greater holding strength than steel bolts in timber frame connections after 20 years of service. Amish heavy lifting techniques. Leverage systems developed by the Amish move multi-ton timbers using nothing but human power and mechanical advantage principles understood for centuries. Traditional Amish barn raising crews routinely raise ridge beams weighing several tons to heights of 30 feet or more without cranes, forklifts, or other mechanical equipment. Block and tackle systems constructed from wooden pulleys achieve 8-to-1 mechanical advantage ratios that allow small crews to lift massive structural components. Amish lifting techniques prove that brain power can move more weight than horsepower and costs a lot less to maintain. The key lies in understanding fulcrum placement, rope angles, and coordinated team movements that multiply individual strength through physics rather than machinery. These methods require careful planning and coordination, but can accomplish seemingly impossible lifting tasks using only ropes, pulleys, and human effort. Amish ridge beam construction. Saddle joints cut by Amish craftsmen distribute roof loads more effectively than modern truss systems by creating multiple contact points that spread weight across larger areas. Traditional Amish ridge beam construction uses hand-hewn timbers shaped to shed snow and rain more efficiently than machine-cut alternatives that often create water traps. Ridge angles developed through centuries of experience in snowy climates account for local weather patterns, snow loads, and wind directions specific to their geographical regions. The saddle joint design allows for slight movement during thermal expansion and contraction while maintaining structural integrity throughout seasonal changes. Hand-hewn surfaces also provide better grip for roofing materials and create natural drainage channels that prevent ice dam formation during winter months. Double wall construction. Controlled air gaps created through traditional Amish double wall systems provide insulation and moisture management without modern vapor barriers or synthetic materials. Amish carpenters strategically place inner and outer wall boards to create thermal breaks using techniques learned from their grandfathers and refined over generations. Strategic board placement creates natural ventilation paths that allow moisture to escape while preventing drafts from entering living spaces. Amish walls breathe better than a yoga instructor and last longer than most marriages. The double wall system manages thermal expansion and contraction by allowing each wall to move independently while maintaining overall structural integrity. Breathable wall construction prevents moisture buildup that leads to rot and mold problems common in tightly sealed modern buildings. Amish sawdust. Insulation techniques. Sawdust mixed with lime in ratios perfected over generations creates effective insulation that performs comparably to modern materials while using completely natural components. Traditional Amish insulation techniques involve specific mixing ratios that account for sawdust type, particle size, and local climate conditions to achieve optimal thermal performance. Lime treatment serves multiple purposes by preventing pest infestations, reducing fire risk, and binding sawdust particles into a stable insulating mass. The mixture creates insulation that actually improves over time as the lime continues curing and binding the sawdust into increasingly dense thermal barriers. Proper installation techniques ensure that sawdust insulation maintains its effectiveness for decades without settling or losing thermal properties. Amish shingle installation techniques. Self-tightening roofing systems created through specific overlap patterns used by Amish roofers for generations automatically adjust to weather conditions without requiring maintenance or adjustment. Traditional Amish shingle installation places nails in precise locations that allow controlled movement while maintaining complete weather protection throughout seasonal changes. Proper shingle spacing creates natural ventilation channels that regulate attic temperatures and prevent ice dam formation during winter months. Amish roofing systems are like good neighbors. They get tighter when the weather gets rough. The overlap patterns account for wood movement, thermal expansion, and wind-up lift forces that can damage improperly installed roofing materials. Strategic nail placement allows shingles to move slightly during expansion and contraction while maintaining weatherproof seals. Natural ventilation systems. Stack effect principles utilized in traditional Amish barn design create consistent airflow patterns that maintain optimal storage conditions without electric fans or mechanical ventilation systems. Amish builders create strategic board spacing that automatically regulates humidity levels in agricultural buildings by allowing controlled air exchange based on external weather conditions. Natural convection systems work by utilizing temperature differences between inside and outside air to create continuous air movement that prevents moisture buildup and maintains consistent temperatures. The ventilation design accounts for seasonal wind patterns, prevailing weather directions, and specific storage requirements for different agricultural products. Proper ventilation placement ensures that air flows efficiently through the entire structure rather than creating dead spots where moisture can accumulate. Amish underground cooling systems. Hand-dug underground tubes utilized by traditional Amish root cellars provide natural cooling by taking advantage of stable soil temperatures that remain constant throughout the year. Amish builders harness prevailing winds through strategic building orientation knowledge passed down for generations, creating natural air conditioning systems that require no electricity or mechanical components. Natural draft systems create multi-zone climate control by utilizing temperature differences and air pressure variations to move air through different areas of structures. Amish cooling systems work harder than a mule in August and never need a service call. Underground air tubes take advantage of soil temperatures that remain around 55 degrees Fahrenheit year-round at depths of 6 to 8 feet. The cooling effect occurs as warm air passes through these underground channels before entering living or storage spaces. Amish window construction. Hand-fitted window sashes utilize wood movement characteristics to create improved weather sealing as seasonal changes cause the wood to expand and contract naturally. Traditional Amish window construction accounts for wood movement patterns by designing sashes that fit more tightly during cold weather when heating demands are highest. Weight and pulley systems created by Amish craftsmen operate smoothly for 100 years or more with minimal maintenance due to proper design and quality materials. Single-pane windows in Amish homes often provide better thermal performance than expected when properly fitted and maintained according to traditional methods. The key lies in understanding how different wood species move with moisture changes and designing window components that work with these natural movements rather than fighting against them. Amish door. Hanging methods. Hand-forged hinges created by Amish blacksmiths support significantly more weight than modern manufactured hardware due to superior materials and construction techniques that account for long-term stress patterns. Traditional Amish three-point hanging systems prevent door sagging in structures that experience seasonal movement by distributing weight across multiple attachment points rather than concentrating stress. Seasonal door frame adjustments use techniques developed specifically for their climate conditions, allowing doors to operate smoothly throughout temperature and humidity changes. Amish door hanging is so precise, the doors close smoother than a politician's excuse. The three-point system typically includes 2 standard hinges plus a third support point that prevents the door from twisting or sagging over time. Proper hanging techniques account for wood movement, foundation settling, and thermal expansion that can affect door operation in timber frame buildings. Amish wooden latch systems. All wood mechanisms crafted by Amish woodworkers operate smoothly after decades of daily use through careful design that accounts for wood movement and wear patterns. Traditional Amish thumb latches provide reliable security while remaining easily operable by children and elderly family members who may have limited hand strength. Spring-loaded systems carved from single wood pieces eliminate the need for metal springs or hardware that can rust, break, or require replacement over time. The wooden springs work by utilizing the natural elasticity of certain wood species, particularly hickory and oak, which maintain their spring properties for generations. These latches often incorporate ingenious leverage systems that multiply the force applied by the user's thumb, making operation effortless even when wood swells during humid weather conditions. Amish natural lighting design. Strategic window placement eliminates dark interior spaces throughout traditional Amish homes by taking advantage of sun angles and seasonal light patterns specific to their geographical region. Amish builders position reflective surfaces, including whitewashed walls and polished wood floors, to multiply available daylight and distribute it evenly throughout living spaces. Lightwell techniques used in Amish construction can illuminate areas located 40 feet or more from exterior walls through careful placement of windows, mirrors, and reflective surfaces. Amish lighting design is so clever, it makes the sun work overtime without paying electric bills. The key lies in understanding how light behaves as it enters buildings and using architectural features to redirect and amplify natural illumination. Proper window sizing and placement can provide adequate lighting for most daily activities without requiring artificial illumination during daylight hours. Amish water systems. Gravity-fed water systems provide consistent pressure throughout traditional Amish homes without electric pumps by utilizing elevation differences and carefully designed distribution networks. Hand-dug wells in Amish communities access stable water tables that maintain reliable flow even during extended drought periods that affect shallow wells and surface water sources. Amish windmill pumps operate effectively in the light winds common to their agricultural regions through gear systems and blade designs optimized for low wind conditions. The windmill systems can pump water from depths of 200 feet or more using only wind power and mechanical advantage. Storage tanks positioned at strategic elevations provide water pressure for household use and livestock watering systems that operate entirely through gravity flow. Amish drainage solutions. French drains constructed using traditional Amish methods provide effective water management for 50 years or more without maintenance, using only local stone and gravel materials. Grading techniques developed by Amish communities direct water flow away from buildings and foundations through subtle slope adjustments that work with natural topography rather than fighting against it. Natural drainage systems prevent water problems through proper site preparation that accounts for seasonal runoff patterns and soil conditions specific to each building location. Amish drainage works so well, even Noah would be impressed with their flood prevention methods. The French drain systems utilize carefully sized stone gradations that allow water to flow freely while filtering out soil particles that could clog the drainage system. Proper installation techniques ensure that these drainage systems continue functioning effectively throughout decades of freeze-thaw cycles and soil movement. Amish corner bracing methods. Diagonal bracing using hand-cut knee braces locks wall frames into rigid triangular configurations that resist racking forces without requiring metal brackets or modern engineering hardware. Traditional Amish corner post reinforcement involves notching intersecting timbers to create interlocking joints that prevent structural movement while allowing for normal wood expansion and contraction. Wind-resistant framing methods position diagonal members to transfer lateral forces directly into foundation stones, creating load paths that distribute wind and seismic forces throughout the entire structure. The triangular bracing principle provides exceptional strength because triangles cannot be deformed without changing the length of their sides, making them inherently stable, geometric shapes. Proper knee brace installation creates structures that actually become stronger over time as the joints tighten and the wood hardens with age. Amish storm-resistant design. Geometric principles rather than modern materials create wind resistance in traditional Amish structural design through building shapes and orientations that naturally deflect destructive forces. Angular building geometry used by Amish communities sheds water efficiently without requiring caulking, sealants, or synthetic weatherproofing materials that can fail over time. Expansion systems in Amish construction accommodate thermal movement while maintaining weather protection through joint designs that allow controlled movement without compromising structural integrity. Amish buildings handle storms like old farmers handle gossip. They let it blow right over without getting ruffled. The storm-resistant design includes roof angles that prevent wind from getting underneath and lifting the structure, wall systems that distribute loads evenly, and foundation connections that anchor the building securely to the ground. Building orientation accounts for prevailing storm directions and seasonal weather patterns specific to their geographical location. Amish plaster methods. Lime plaster achieves strength comparable to modern cement while using only local materials that improve rather than deteriorate with age through natural carbonation processes. Traditional Amish lime plaster application techniques taught within families create smooth, durable surfaces without power tools or modern mixing equipment. Horsehair reinforcement prevents cracking while allowing normal structural movement that occurs as timber frame buildings settle and adjust to seasonal changes. The lime plaster continues hardening for decades through chemical reactions with carbon dioxide in the air, actually becoming stronger over time rather than weakening like many modern materials. Proper application techniques create surfaces that resist moisture penetration while allowing walls to breathe and regulate indoor humidity naturally. Amish, natural wood. Finishes, linseed oil applications create protective finishes that actually improve with age through oxidation processes that harden the oil into a durable, water-resistant surface coating. Traditional Amish natural pigment techniques achieve lasting color without synthetic chemicals by using iron oxides, plant extracts, and mineral compounds that bond permanently with wood fibers. Weathering processes on Amish buildings enhance wood appearance rather than degrading it because the natural finishes allow wood to age gracefully while maintaining protection. Amish wood finishes age like fine wine. They just keep getting better and more distinguished over time. The linseed oil finish penetrates deep into wood fibers rather than sitting on the surface like paint, creating protection that cannot peel or chip off. Multiple thin coats applied over time build up protective layers that can last for decades with minimal maintenance. Amish floor. Finishing. Hand-rub finishes develop protective patina through daily use that actually improves the floor's appearance and durability over decades of foot traffic and normal wear. Traditional Amish floor maintenance enhances appearance through techniques that work with wood's natural characteristics rather than fighting against them with harsh chemicals or aggressive refinishing methods. Maintenance schedules practiced by Amish families can preserve floors for 100 years or more through regular care that prevents damage rather than waiting to repair problems after they develop. The hand-rub technique uses natural oils and waxes that penetrate the wood surface and create protection from within the wood fibers themselves. Proper maintenance involves understanding wood grain direction, seasonal movement patterns, and appropriate cleaning methods that enhance rather than damage the natural wood surface. Amish inspection methods. Acoustic testing techniques identify loose joints and structural defects through sound patterns that trained ears can interpret to assess building condition without destructive testing methods. Traditional Amish visual inspection techniques taught within families detect potential problems before they affect structural integrity by recognizing subtle signs of movement, moisture damage, or material degradation. Physical stress testing verifies load capacity without instruments by applying controlled loads and observing structural response to ensure safety margins remain adequate. Amish building inspections are so thorough, they make government inspectors look like they need reading glasses. The acoustic method works because solid joints and tight connections produce different sounds than loose or damaged areas when struck with a hammer or mallet. Experienced Amish builders can identify specific types of problems based on the pitch, tone, and resonance of sounds produced during inspection testing. Amish building standards. Community standards maintained by traditional Amish builders exceed modern building code requirements through peer oversight and generational knowledge that prioritizes long-term structural integrity over minimum compliance. Traditional Amish community standards ensure that every structure meets expectations that have been refined over centuries of practical experience in their specific climate and soil conditions. Peer review systems used by Amish builders create consistent craftsmanship across all projects because experienced craftsmen inspect and approve work before construction proceeds to the next phase. Quality expectations result in structural integrity that routinely lasts 150 years or more without major repairs or structural modifications. The community approach means that individual builders cannot cut corners or use substandard materials because their work will be examined by other skilled craftsmen who understand proper construction methods. Amish. Material usage. Cutting plans developed by traditional Amish builders utilize 95% of available lumber through careful planning that minimizes waste while maximizing the useful yield from each tree. Wood selection matching practiced by Amish sawyers optimizes material properties for specific structural applications by understanding how different parts of trees perform in various building components. Waste reduction strategies generate 90% less construction debris than conventional building methods through techniques that find useful applications for nearly every piece of material. Amish waste management is so efficient, garbage trucks get lost trying to find their houses. The efficient material usage results from understanding wood grain patterns, defect locations, and optimal cutting sequences that extract maximum value from each log. Proper material matching ensures that the strongest wood goes into critical structural applications, while lower-grade pieces find appropriate uses in non-structural components. Amish. Time management. Work rhythms developed over generations maximize productivity while preventing worker fatigue through pacing strategies that maintain consistent output throughout long construction days. Traditional Amish task coordination manages complex projects through verbal communication systems that eliminate the need for written schedules or modern project management software. Break scheduling maintains work quality throughout extended construction periods by recognizing when fatigue begins to affect craftsmanship and safety. The time management approach balances efficiency with sustainability, ensuring that workers can maintain high-quality output without exhaustion or injury. Proper rhythm coordination allows large crews to work together smoothly without conflicts or scheduling problems that can delay modern construction projects significantly. Amish. Tool organization. Workshop layouts position tools within easy reach of all work areas through organizational systems that eliminate wasted motion and improve workflow efficiency throughout the construction process. Traditional Amish maintenance schedules prevent tool failure and extend service life through regular care that keeps cutting edges sharp and moving parts properly lubricated. Tool modification techniques adapt standard tools for specialized applications by making custom handles, adjusting cutting angles, or creating jigs that improve accuracy and efficiency. Amish tool organization is so good, even the hammers know their place and stay there. The organizational approach ensures that tools remain in optimal condition and readily available when needed, reducing downtime and improving work quality. Proper tool care can extend the useful life of hand tools for decades, making them more cost-effective than power tools that require frequent replacement. Amish structural repair techniques. Sister beam installation reinforces damaged timbers without requiring major structural disassembly by adding new support members alongside existing beams that have developed cracks or other problems. Traditional Amish housejacking methods lift entire structures for foundation work using leverage systems and temporary supports that distribute loads safely during repair operations. Load redistribution techniques maintain structural integrity during repairs by providing alternative load paths that allow damaged components to be replaced without compromising building stability. The repair methods often result in structures that are stronger than original construction because additional support members and improved connections exceed the original design requirements. Proper repair planning ensures that work can proceed safely while maintaining normal building use throughout most of the repair process. Amish maintenance planning. Design anticipation of maintenance requirements over 100-year building lifespans influences every construction decision from material selection to joint design and component accessibility for future repair work. Traditional Amish component accessibility allows repair and replacement without major disassembly by designing buildings with removable sections and accessible connections that facilitate maintenance operations. Preventive maintenance practiced by Amish families prevents minor issues from developing into major problems through regular inspection and care that addresses problems before they affect structural integrity. Amish maintenance planning is like good parenting. A little attention now prevents big problems later. The long-term approach recognizes that all building materials will eventually require maintenance or replacement, and proper planning makes these operations manageable and cost-effective. Component design allows for selective replacement without affecting surrounding materials or requiring extensive reconstruction work. Amish compression. Wedge systems. Tapered oak wedges driven into keyed mortise joints create connections that actually tighten over decades as seasonal moisture cycles and wood movement compress the wedges deeper into position. Traditional Amish wedge placement techniques position compression points to counteract natural wood shrinkage and settling that occurs as timber frame buildings age and adjust to their environment. Self-adjusting joint systems allow structures to become stronger over time because the wedges automatically compensate for wood movement and maintain tight connections without manual adjustment. The wedge systems work by utilizing wood's natural tendency to shrink across the grain while remaining stable along the grain, creating forces that drive wedges tighter with each seasonal cycle. Proper wedge installation ensures that joints remain tight throughout the building's lifetime while allowing for normal wood movement and structural settling. Amish bent wood structural systems. Steam bending creates curved structural members without cutting or laminating multiple pieces by utilizing wood's natural flexibility when heated and moistened to specific temperature and humidity levels. Traditional Amish green wood bending techniques shape load-bearing beams while wood fibers remain flexible and strong, creating curved members that maintain full structural integrity throughout their length. Natural curve installation methods utilize wood grain direction to create self-supporting arch structures that distribute loads more efficiently than straight beam systems. Amish bent wood techniques can make lumber more flexible than a politician's promises, and infinitely more reliable. The steam bending process requires understanding wood species characteristics, proper heating techniques, and forming methods that create permanent curves without damaging wood fibers. Curved structural members often provide superior load distribution compared to straight beams while creating architectural features that enhance building appearance. Amish bark roofing technique. Seasonal bark harvesting requires selecting birch and cedar bark during specific periods when sap flow allows clean separation from trees without damaging either the bark or the underlying wood layers. Traditional Amish layered installation methods create overlapping bark sheets that expand and contract with moisture changes without cracking or developing leaks that compromise weather protection. Natural preservation techniques treat bark roofing with pine pitch and wood ash to achieve 40 years or more of service life without synthetic materials or chemical preservatives. The bark roofing system works by utilizing the natural water-resistant properties of bark while creating installation patterns that shed water effectively throughout all weather conditions. Proper harvesting timing ensures that bark maintains flexibility and weather resistance throughout its service life on the building. Amish resource sharing. Cooperative approaches prevent duplicate purchases across multiple families through community coordination that ensures expensive tools and equipment remain available for all members when needed for construction projects. Traditional Amish scheduling systems prevent resource conflicts during peak construction seasons by coordinating project timing so that tools and skilled workers can move efficiently between different building sites. Collaborative methods complete projects 25% faster than individual efforts through shared labor, coordinated material deliveries, and combined expertise that eliminates delays and reduces overall construction time. Amish resource sharing works better than most corporate efficiency programs, and nobody needs a consultant to explain it. The sharing system ensures that high-quality tools remain available to all community members while reducing individual investment costs and storage requirements for specialized equipment that sees only occasional use. These Amish building techniques prove that centuries of hands-on experience often trumps modern technology. The Amish continue building structures that outlast everything around them using traditional wisdom and natural materials. Sometimes the best innovation is simply remembering what actually works.